I was hovering above the dead bodies, and there was another body, a third body, and I looked at the shirt and the shoes and the pants that he was wearing, the hair. Oh my gosh, that's me. That's me. I grew up in Southern California in the 1950s. So we're going way back. In the 1960s, early 1960s, this was the golden age of aviation. That's when pilots really needed to know how to fly the airplane. The airplanes were not as forgiving as they are today. It was just a time to admire aviation. And so I wanted to be a pilot. I was 14. It was the golden era, so duh. And I wanted to be a pilot. So I made the goals to do that secretly. My family wanted me to stay in the family business. I had a personality very much like my dad. The problem with that is I wanted to be a pilot, and that was a full-time job for me. So that's how I got interested in it. After coming back from around the world, seeing how I could travel the world, have great adventure, make great money. I didn't even have to work more than 8 days a week back in that time. When I was 18, I started my flight training. I got no help from the government. I got no help from my parents. I worked very hard as a truck driver in order to drive trucks all night and then come back and be able to go to school in college and then start my flight training. So I worked very, very hard. I slept very, very little. And that's when the airplane crash occurred. It was July 18th, 1969. And this is where it all began. My story really begins from the wreckage of an airplane crash. I was the only survivor. On the day of the crash, I was flying cargo along with 2 other pilots, 3 pilots in the cockpit, and we were on a beautiful day at the Hollywood Burbank Airport. It was early in the morning, and we were looking for another gorgeous day of flying this cargo, and we took off. We got about 100 feet off the ground, and the aircraft had trouble. I could hear it in my ears. We all knew something was horribly wrong. The pilot barked out the words, and he said, "Let's land in that clear area over there." I just kind of leaned up and saw over the dash panel, the instrument panel, what looked like a golf course or a city park. I thought a golf course. And I thought, oh, wow, okay, well, we're going to be in the newspaper tomorrow. We'll be the headline tomorrow. I know that. But I didn't think we would die. And the next thing I know, the pilot grabbed the flight controls with both hands, and in about 1/2 of a second, he yanked them all the way to the left and all the way back to his chest. And I was looking down at his fingers, watching how hard he was squeezing. And his last words were, "Oh my God." And we slammed into this building. The official National Transportation Safety Board airspeed that we crushed into this building was 135 miles per hour. We impacted that, and all 3 of us pilots came to an immediate stop because we just did that. The airplane broke up into several thousand pieces. There was no cockpit to be in anymore. So all 3 of us pilots hit the mausoleum, the building, and then fell about 100 feet down to the ground. And we just landed, boom, boom, boom. All 3 of us, there we were at the bottom of this. And the next thing I remember, strangely, is looking down at 3 bodies. I was hovering above the dead bodies. For a moment, if this makes any sense, for a moment, I didn't remember that I was a pilot. I didn't remember I had boarded an aircraft. I didn't remember much at all. I just was looking down. I was in the present only. The past was long gone. I wasn't thinking of the future, just the present. There are 3 bodies. The first body, oh my gosh, that guy's dead. He's no doubt about it. I could tell further, but there's no reason to. He was dead. The second pilot, oh, he looks dead. There was blood everywhere. It was a mess. But I looked down and said, oh my gosh, That's my flight instructor. That's my friend. That's my mentor. And then there was another body, a third body, and I looked at the shirt and the shoes and the pants that he was wearing, the hair. Oh my gosh, that's me. That's me. But I'm up here. That's my body, but I'm up here. And I'm not dead because I've never felt more alive. And as I looked down at my body, suddenly I realized I learned something I'd never remembered learning or never remembered being taught. But I learned that I was a spirit that lives forever. I have a soul, my mind, my will, and my emotions. They're with me. And I used to live in that body down there. That's weird because when I was living on earth, I had it just the opposite. When I got to heaven, these two angels guided me, and they were delighted. They were full of joy to be escorting me, and they directed me to arrive at a specific spot at an exact time. There was a welcoming committee, I call it, a welcoming family that was there, and they assembled at the same time I got there, and they welcomed me in the most loving and kind way possible. There was such love and such acceptance, and I could not believe the oneness that I felt with this group of people. I felt like these were truly my brothers and my sisters. But as soon as that happened, there was a very large angel, which I had noticed before. This angel had more authority, was larger, and you could tell by the body language, and he wouldn't let me go forward. And there was no conflict. But I realized, there over to the right, to my right, is this golden pedestal with, again, pearl substance on it. And on top of it was a book. Resting atop this golden stand was this massive book, astoundingly beautiful, bound in cover of solid gold and lattice. And as quickly as I had the question, what is this book? The answer once again formed in my heart, and I understood. This was the book of life. And inside this book were the names of those who are allowed to go into heaven through this gate. And unless my name was in this book, entry would not be permitted. And the angel had stopped me. I knew that if my name wasn't in the book, I couldn't go in. Not now, not never. I wasn't certain what was going to happen to me. But there it was, my name. First name, middle name, last name. And truthfully, I was a bit shocked. I never denied God. I knew that he was alive. I knew he was real. And now here I was getting ready to go into supposedly heaven. Next to my name were some numbers. And these numbers were confusing to me because I was born January 1st, 1950. Simple. 1-1-50. Right in the middle, exactly, of the last century. That's when I was born. But in that book, that was not what was near my name. And I was confused. And I thought, okay, that's not the same Dale Black. And then the answer came right away. I was wondering why the dates are different. And the answer came. No, Dale, not the day of your earthly birth. The first number that next to your name is the day that you were created by God, the day that you were given life. In heaven, the day of conception is what's important, not the day of your physical birth. And then I saw another date next to my name, and I asked, what's that date? Because it didn't make sense. It was June 29th, and I was told again, that's the day you were born again. That's the day that you invited Jesus into your heart. Oh my gosh, I remembered it. I'd forgotten it. All those years I'd forgotten, but I remember when I was 12. I should have been dead on July 18th, 1969 in that airplane crash. I got new life, a second chance at life, and every breath that I take now is because God has given me that breath, and I have surrendered my heart and my life to Him to do what He tells me to do and to say what He tells me to say. And I started walking up this gradual curved stairway. My angels had stopped at the bottom of the stairway, and I kept going up, and I thought, well, maybe I shouldn't do this. Maybe I'm not supposed to go anywhere. And I slowed down, and I was blocked again. And this is my second time I was blocked. And I said, okay, I can't go up. I said, no, Dale, you can't go up here and still go back. Go back where? I was only thinking of the present. I had no memory much of the past, except my spiritual reflection of when I was 12. I didn't remember my parents, my friends, my college. I remembered nothing. I was in the present, living in the present. And I realized, this stairway leads probably to the throne of God, where all that bright light is coming from. And just as I stopped, I turned to the left just a little, and there was the face of my Lord. That was the face of my Jesus. And when I saw His eyes and knew who I was looking at, I fell to His feet and held His feet. And He leaned down and He whispered into my ear something that changed my life. I went 40 plus years without sharing that. It's very sacred. What He said is in the book Visiting Heaven, but what He said I've kept very private, and it's what motivates me today. When I woke up from heaven after 4 days in a coma, and doctors said I would never walk again, never see out of this eye again, never use this left arm again. My back was a mess. My memory was gone. What's going to happen to me? They thought I would live, but I would never, ever, ever have a normal life. Just how bad it would be, they would have to wait and see. But something happened in the wheelchair. When I got out of the hospital, I got a hold of a Bible. I believed every word. I acted on everything I believed. And verse by verse, I got my life back. I got a career out of it. The miracles started taking place. This is 50 years ago. And it took 40 years for me to write everything I learned with an experience in heaven, coming back, never being told I'd have a normal life. And I wrote all of this that changed my life. When I woke up from the coma after 4 days, nothing has ever been the same since. I had spent time in heaven. I've been very careful not to talk about this. I waited 40 years. I told the Lord I did not want to talk about my experience unless He told me to. I didn't want to be one of those people that would write a book and go commercialize my sacred experience. I came back with love, the love of God. Love is everywhere. It permeates heaven. God is love. The other thing I came back with is faith. Faith is the currency of heaven. Faith is what makes things work. Even on earth, faith is the most powerful quality or aspect that we need to get our prayers from God answered. And then the third thing I came back with, in heaven, truth reigns supreme. There are no lies in heaven. There's no betrayal. There's no deceit. There's no manipulation. Everything's out in the open, clean and pure and truthful. If you've ever prayed a prayer that didn't get answered, if you want to experience what faith is really like, that really works, then discover for yourself what can happen when your faith goes atomic.